A major breakthrough with North Korea after a historic meeting inside the Oval Office. President Trump is now saying he'll sit down with Kim Jong-un in Singapore.
We'll be meeting on June 12th in Singapore. I think it'll be a process. It's not, I never said it goes in one meeting. I think it's going to be a process. But the relationships are building, and that's a very positive thing. We talked about ending the war. And, you know, this war has been going on. It's got to be the longest war, almost 70 years. Can you believe that we're talking about the ending of the Korean War?
The president's announcement coming after talking with North Korean Vice Chairman Kim Yong-chol at the White House for over an hour. President Trump also surprising some when asked about receiving a letter from Kim Jong-un.
I haven't seen the letter yet. I purposely didn't open the letter. I haven't opened it. I didn't open it in front of the director. I said, would you want me to open it? He said, you can read it later. I may be in for a big surprise, folks.
The president has since read the letter. I don't know if he was in for a big surprise, but that happened all during the daily briefing, and that was my favorite part when he made that little joke. An amazing day. I think that the big news out of it, Kimberly, is that, yes, of course, the summit is a go, at least today. We'll see how that goes for next week. But that also the South Koreans have been pushing for this possibility of signing an end to the Korean War, and the president indicating that that is likely to be an outcome of that first meeting. It's not necessarily the full denuclearization, all the civid stuff that he wants, but that is actually one of the go-tos for the South Koreans, probably the North Koreans as well.
Yeah, I think this is really so historic in terms of what has been accomplished so far. No other presidency has been able to get the ball so far down in the court to be able to do something like this in terms of brokering some kind of peace agreement, denuclearization. And when you saw this today, it got back on track in terms of saying, okay, we're going to be able to do this summit. This is something that everybody should be very excited about internationally because it brings the chance and the opportunity for peace and stability in a region that has been so geopolitically fraught with danger, with a regime. And what we see here is he's really been able to bring Kim Jong-un to the table and to his knees, essentially, because his economy is it's on the brink of collapse. He has really no choice but to come to the table. What President Trump has done with tariffs, what he's done with applying pressure with Chinese, what he's done in terms of his outreach and relationship with South Korea as well, has all put this into motion in relatively quick period of time early in his presidency. So I think it's most auspicious and favorable for the United States and for North and South Korea.
I think you meant sanctions, right, not
yes.
Tariffs, because the president did say, Jesse, that he had over 100 additional sanctions that he was ready to put on, and the North Koreans knew about that, and that in the meeting the president said, okay, I won't do it, at least not at this moment.
If he doesn't like what he sees when he opens the letter, slap a few more sanctions back on. I was getting my shoes shined on downstairs earlier today, and they have to have the MSNBC channel on because it's right under Rock Center, so I was forced to watch them cover this whole
You don't have
spectacle.
to explain to us. We
won't
judge you. We won't judge you.
Okay, I thought I needed to make that clear. It's not watching it on purpose. So, and you know, he's talking about bringing, like Kimberly said, these two sides together and ending a war that's gone on. I mean, we're still at war, technically. That's been going on for decades. And the anchors come out and they just criticize him for
I saw that.
Going back and forth on the Singapore summit for canceling it and then going back on and then saying, what a hypocrite. He gets out of the Iran deal and then he wants to make a deal with North Korea. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, if this was President Obama
no kidding.
and this was going along the way it's going along under President Trump, he would be being hailed. The guy that was in the White House today, it's amazing that they would bring a guy who's responsible for hacking Sony, hacking on people's limbs, doing some of the most atrocious things to human beings, I think, in the world. He's one of the most brutal people around, into the White House, into the Oval Office, and not just for handing off a letter, but then just to sit and discuss things. The fact that you are forced to deal with savage people in this world says a lot about our country and what we're willing to do in order to achieve peace. China is, as you've been saying, is pretty integral in this. They don't necessarily want to see North Korea defanged. No. They're worried about a crisis with migrants flowing across. And let's just say Korea comes together as one. eventually a powerhouse, and then you have Japan right there and their alliance with the United States. You have a pretty bold, kind of Western-oriented alliance right on China's doorstep. They might not like that too much, so I guess we'll just continue to see how China reacts.
The president said again, Greg, my favorite line, we'll see what happens.
Yes.
But he was a little bit more emphatic today in talking about that this meeting will not be the only meeting, that it's not going to be where you finish the whole deal. The other thing is he did, I don't know if we have the video, if you guys can pull it up.
No.
He pulled he not only did he have an hour-long meeting, but he did like this personal diplomacy, and he actually walked them out to their cars, which was a huge sign of respect, and he took that like sort of group picture that they could be showing back in North Korea.
Well, 2 points. One, he kept saying again and again that it's a process. This is always a process. And you have to remember, this is a developer from Queens, not a professor from Columbia. So he does things like a developer from Queens, meaning it's about respect and reciprocity, servicing a client. So you develop a relationship with your client, you make them feel good, you wave the carrot, you got the stick, but you wave the carrot. The tone at all times has to reflect win-win. It's like you and I are both going to get something out of this. A lot of people are critical of this because you're doing a win-win with a heartless killer. Right. But the fact is, he's a developer from Queens. He's dealt with worse.
So this is easy for him.
This is easy. So the thing is, the fact is, the options that you have, okay, you got to meet with Dr. Evil, but the other option is you don't, and that means war or starvation. You're going. So if you're against this meeting, then you're saying, okay, maybe we just starve these people to death, or 25 million people through sanctions and whatnot, or do you actually try something new? I think that's why this is a breakthrough, is because you have a developer from Queens who said, why not? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And everybody who is freaking out about that might want to just wait and see what happens.
I don't understand the criticism today, on especially today of all days, where it was all the diplomacy in one. But Geraldo, you have a perspective from having covered the conflict in Korea over the years, and you said you were you there in 1983?
In the 80s, a couple times. To Jesse's point first, you make peace with your enemies. You don't make peace with your friends. Right. I mean, you hold your nose and you go in there, and there's plenty of, in wartime, there's plenty of criminal allegations to go around. But watching Dana's excellent program at 2 o'clock, I mean, that line really stuck in my head. Can you believe we're talking about ending the Korean War? Can you believe we're talking about ending the Korean War? I mean, denuclearization and all this, and the nuance and all the rest.
How many people in America have actually been a part of that? Because have been sent there, served in Korea, have been at the DMZ. I mean, there's
virtually every career
several
officer.
Generations of Americans have been there.
But what if they unite? But they don't.
They won't unite.
No, but I'm just saying. You were saying what a great thing it is to talk about. Now you're saying it's not going to happen. I'm saying what happens.
You're talking about unification. I'm talking about a peace treaty between the United States, the United Nations.
I'm talking about if they decide to. Let's say they reunify and don't need denuclear.
Well, I don't see that happening. Where is a historic example of that happening? I think the centrifugal forces tend to keep countries separate. I think they will be much more intimately united. I think their economies might be much more in sync. I think the system, the North Korean totalitarian dictatorship will loosen up over the decades as people get cell phones. My goodness, as they get satellite TV, I think it will have a modifying effect on the country. But I mean, to me, today, along with 3.8% unemployment and record low unemployment for black people, for Hispanics, for women, and this news about a peace treaty with Korea, I think this is the best day of the Trump presidency.
Well, it's one of the best for sure. But I think what's really interesting is the way he was able to try to apply pressure across all different fronts, also with the Chinese, because without them being involved in this, he had to put some pressure on them, like with the tariffs as well, to be able to get them to come to the table to support it, because they support the North Korean regime. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been motivated to get involved.
And to Kimberly's point, it really is about the economy in North Korea. They are on their knees. It's starvation nation. And Kim, I think last year, made a promise to his people and said, we are going to bring you out of the despicable hole you're in. I promise growth. I promise better lifestyle and standard of living. And he has not been able to deliver. In fact, since he made that promise, with the sanctions, things have gotten worse. So he is dying to bring his country into the 21st century, and he sees a pathway forward with President Trump, and hopefully they can work out a system where they can slowly have the sanctions eased off, while at the same time we take a closer look at how they ramp down their.
And he told the press that they got to pack their bags because they're going to Singapore. Did you have a last?
There you go.
I was just going to say
Nobel Peace Prize.
No, I was going to say you could start by surplus food as a gesture of goodwill. You deliver
also
a 1-week supply of grain to something
information
like
and internet access.
But also you also have to stop saying they're on their knees, because the whole point of this is pride and respect. Yeah. And when you're servicing a client, you don't keep saying, well, we got him where we want him.
Right, that's why he walked them to the car.
Exactly.
He did the generous,
it's a shift. It's a subtle shift that a salesman knows, and a real estate salesman knows. You got to get him inside.
Hopefully Kim's not watching me.
Right, the two of us. Don't listen to Jesse and us.